Hickok45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the hills of Middle Tennessee. Paradise. Yeah, that's the way I look at it. Quite the paradise here in Middle Tennessee. The weather is really shaping up. We're getting some pretty nice weather here in the middle of March and looking forward to spring. So, glad you could join me today. I'm going to talk just very briefly today about a few things. Been having a great time. We have been, testing a lot of different guns. As you know, the XDM, got a walkthrough we need to run by you all. We have all kinds of plans for videos. Got a Gen 4 Glock 27 today. Just picked it up. So, and we have a couple other things I think you'll like when we post them. Really thoroughly enjoyed doing that 44 Magnum video with my 4-inch stainless. That was a lot of fun. Just, shooting is just fun, isn't it? It's just a lot of fun. And I thoroughly enjoy it. And we're having a lot of fun. I could do 10 videos today. We have all kinds of things we need to do, want to do, and hopefully some of which you'll enjoy. Maybe all of which you'll enjoy. So anyway, this week I wanted to maybe take a break from some of the usuals. We're going to do our gun action of the week, but the Canadian Reload Radio called several weeks ago and said they wanted to interview me, and who knows why, but they did, and last week, and I thought I would just they sent the files, so it'd be fine to use it on my radio show, quote unquote. So we're just going to play some of that on the radio show. I almost don't recall everything I said. Hopefully I didn't say anything too stupid, because it wasn't one of those deals where you replay it or, let's start that over. I think I said something really stupid or stumbled or whatever. And that's kind of the nature of what we do anyway, kind of real-time reality stuff. And don't worry about whether or not it's perfect or, awfully slick or anything. So anyway, there was an interview that lasted about 50 minutes, I think. So we're going to play a little bit of it this week. And after you've heard some of that, we will come back and do the gun action of the week. So hope you enjoy this. Just thought it might be interesting to you. It's a Canadian Reload Radio. The guys are really, really good fellows. I enjoyed speaking with them, and have had some follow-up communication with them. Just good fellows. They love guns. They love to talk guns. They're just a lot like I am. They just like to shoot. They're not overly political. They're not, involved in that and nothing else. They are shooters. They are people who like guns, and they enjoy sitting around chatting about firearms every week. So I chatted with them this week, and hope you enjoy it.
Now, coming up, we have a very special interview, which we do right now live with Hickok45. So, per much of our popular demand, we gave him a call, and we're going to sit down with Hickok45 and talk guns Tennessee style.
Okay, so we have a special guest on the show for you guys this week, joining us all the way from Tennessee. So Hickok45 has literally millions of hits on his YouTube videos. He's a legitimate internet celebrity and a celebrity in general. He does all kinds of reviews on different types of firearms, a lot of pistols, but for the most part he just loves shooting, and he's been gracious enough to post his fun for everyone to enjoy on YouTube. So Hickok45, what prompted you to start YouTubing, and did you ever dream of it being so crazy, so successful?
Oh, really? I like the word celebrity there. Where are all the women if I'm a celebrity?
I assume they're at your ranch.
Not yet. I don't know about that celebrity business. But anyway, to answer your question, and then hello to everybody in Canada and anywhere else that folks are listening. Appreciate being on air with you guys. Well, a couple of things got me started, I guess, or three. I've always liked photography, and when digital photography came along, I got some of the little big Canon Power Elves or whatever they're called, little pocket cameras about the size of a pack of cigarettes. I just always had one with me. And I'd get to messing around. I'd be out on the farm, taking shots with something, I might just pull it out and film it, you know, a little MPEG, and just for my own purposes. And then got to doing some silly things like shooting through my car, just nothing difficult, just being goofy, and posted one of those on YouTube. I guess when I first found out about YouTube, or my son, you know, John told me about it, and we put a couple of those goofy things up there, and they were up there for about a year, I think, and you know, I just would forget about it. So really didn't do anything worthwhile. And it was when I started teaching Shane, the novel, the Western novel, to my students, that I got the idea of where I couldn't bring guns into the classroom, I could do some video right here at the range. And so I dressed up, you know, like a cowboy, and I'd been doing cowboy action shooting anyway, so I had that gear. And I just got all my guns of the West, quote unquote, out on the table, and set up the camera on a tripod for the first one. John was off in college, and so I just set up the tripod, and I just filmed myself talking about the old Colt single action. I'd show what Shane carried, you know, the type of gun, because it talks in the novel about it being a Colt single action and all that. And I demonstrated that, and the lever guns, and then I just turned around, shot them, showed how they shoot. I think I even shot black powder cartridges, and, you know, explained that's the way it really was in the West and everything, because I hand loaded, and I still do, you know, black powder cartridges. So then I just took that to the classroom and showed the kids. So that was kind of neat. And I showed that to my son, who was away at school, sent it to him, I think, and he had been prowling around YouTube looking at the gun videos. Somehow he ended up growing up to be a gun nut too. I don't know how that happened, but he was telling me that there was nothing out there that good. That you know, I mean, not much, or some good stuff. Of course, this is 3 years ago, I guess. I don't know, but so I don't know. We did something. I did something with Glocks, one or two videos, and then John got home and he started filming for me, and we actually did several just to put them up and just to play with it, really. Give a little information, demonstrate what a Glock 19 is. Here's what it is. Here's how it fits in the Glock lineup, and here's how it operates. I break it down real quickly, and then just turn around and shoot. And of course, with the steel, the reactive targets, you know, that, you know, people can see and, you know, get a little feedback there. So, and I didn't really think I was doing anything astounding at all, just kind of having some fun, and people seemed to be reacting to it positively, and I just didn't think a lot about it. So we'd do one every now and then, and just kind of cranked along like that until YouTube finally, if we had 1,000 subscribers, they asked me to be a partner. And so I didn't even know what that was about. I didn't know you could make any money at all on YouTube. I didn't know that even existed, naive that I was. And it just kind of went from there. We just started doing more videos, and I had a lot of guns, you know, for a long time. I've been a shooter for a long time, and something of a collector. So we would just bring different guns out. So we started doing shotgun videos and you know, other sorts of videos, you know, old guns, new guns, and just having fun, some for educational purposes and some primarily just to have fun. If you're a shooter, you like to shoot and you like guns, you tend to enjoy, you know, things like blowing up a watermelon, you know, the stuff that you see pretty often, you know. So that's kind of how it got going, and you know, it's been a surprise that people have been so receptive and have enjoyed it this way. I don't know. I never considered myself a great presenter, great speaker, or anything like that. It's all been a total surprise that it's gotten this big. You know, it really has. It's just we sit around and talk about it, and you know, it's just a surprise. And I think it's just a combination of having a nice range, having lots of guns. I've been shooting for so long that I can shoot most of them reasonably well, and I can open them up and show people. And so I think it's just a combination of all those things. Nobody was really doing that much the way we do it, at least. And plus, one thing people seem to like is I'm just a kind of a regular guy. I've never been in the military, so I'm not trying to be macho with them. In fact, I encourage people not to be macho or think of guns as a macho thing, and I think people just can relate to that.
That's great. So it kind of started out as an educational thing for your students, and it's blown up into this huge YouTube scene with you as a partner with YouTube, putting out quality content. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So this next question is a little bit private for some gun owners, but approximately how many guns do you own, and what are some of your favorites?
Well, I never give out the exact number, but I do have quite a few. It takes me a while to get around to them all. You know, if I wanted to shoot all of them, a few dozen, you know, at least. And again, it's funny that people come onto the channel and they, oh my gosh, you must be rich, you know, because I'm shooting. Well, you know, I've been around a long time, and collecting here and there. You buy one gun a year, you know. I mean, you know, you end up with a lot of guns after several years and trade around, that sort of thing. And I'm addicted, I guess, in a lot of ways, because I like so many different types of firearms. I know just enough about history to make me dangerous. I love the old guns of the West, you know, the Colt single actions, and, you know, even the Smith & Wessons, Schofields, all those guns from back then, the lever guns, the 1873s, you know, just you name it. I had a Sharps rifle and 45-7. You had a couple different of those. I don't have one right now, but just all of those guns are they're just so much fun to shoot, and there's so much history associated with them. And then been coming right on up through the 1911s. You know, the military firearms are very interesting to me. The role they played, the Glocks, you know, you name it, and not just the Glock, just any of them that work well. I think most of us guys can relate to that. A piece of machinery has a, you know, utilitarian, you know, purpose. It's understandable. Take it apart, clean it, fix it, put it back together, and it works, reliable. You know, just something about that. It appeals to guys as a hobby. Most guys, you know, I don't know. It's just the favorites. I guess I'd have to say, or other than all of them, I would probably say the Colt single action.
All of them is a good answer, actually.
Whichever one's in my hands at the time. But the Colt single actions and the 1911 and the Glocks, I guess, are my favorite. You know, handguns. And I like the lever guns a lot, you know, too, the Marlins or I don't have many Winchester, or I guess any Winchester. Well, I've got the remake, the 1886, but I can't get the sight I like up on the receiver of those, so I stick with Marlins mainly for shooting. But I like the Winchesters, I like the Marlins, and, you know, those are some of my very favorites.
Now, in your videos, we see that you have an amazing range in your backyard. The thing is awesome. How long have you had it? How long did it take you to build it up to what we see in your videos?
Well, I've had a range in my backyard. I actually lived at another location in Franklin, Tennessee, and I had 5 acres back in the early 80s, and had a I guess kind of a redneck range set up there. I remember having some blocks of wood. I'd buy 4x4s and saw them off, paint them different colors, and just shoot at them. I just didn't have much metal at the time. But I've had a range on my place in my backyard since the early 80s, and then moved out here where I am now in 86. So I've been here since then, for about 25 years. And right away, of course, the realtor, when we were looking for property, that was one of the criteria. I told her that, you know, we wanted a place that was in, you know, 30 minutes of Nashville, preferably was not on a gravel road, and that had at least 20, 30 acres and a place to shoot. So that was on her list. You know, I had to have a suitable place to shoot on it, and so I had that scoped out before we even closed the deal. And then I just had to take one tree down. It was a great little, well, you see the spot in the videos. It was just one persimmon tree growing right in the middle of it, and that's really about the only tree I had to cut. And it was just kind of a natural place to set it up. And I bought a few. Well, when I got here, I had a guy that lived out here cut me out the animals. Most of the animals he cut out and made for me, the turkeys and pigs and everything, rams. They weren't really all that expensive at the time. He was just kind of a shade tree welder, and he enjoyed cutting those out for me. I had him do some bush hogging for me the first year I was out here, and before I got a tractor. But and then from then it's just kind of evolved. I know people are impressed by the range and setup, and it really is a range. But then again, it's just my place, and any place on here I consider my range. Any place I want to shoot, and you really don't need this many targets. You know, I tell people if you got a place to do this, you could just go get you 4 or 5 metal plates, hang them on plant hangers or whatever you want to do, and then move them around and do all that. It's just that just over time it's evolved. I've added this and that and improved the stands. I used to shoot up a lot of target stands. You can imagine if you use 4x4s and different pieces of wood. I used to have the animals sitting on wood, and even the closer targets were not all of them were hanging, and they were on wood. And once you shoot a while, it gets to where you can't set the animals back up on the wood because bullets strike right up top and crease the wood. And finally, I've been able to set everything on steel and have everything hanging. That was one of my goals about 7 or 8 years ago, to make this thing pretty much indestructible, at least the pistol bullets. So no matter where I hit, I'm not going to tear something up. I'm not going to have to keep replacing wood. And if you notice it, how it's the range, that's pretty much it. You can stand and shoot that thing 10,000 rounds, and there's really nothing that's just going to wear out. But that's kind of how it happened. It just sort of evolved.
I can tell you, living on the west coast of Canada, a spread like that you'd have to win the lottery twice to be able to buy it. So you're a lucky dude, I'll tell you that much. Now, I guess we just heard from you that you're a high school teacher. Have you ever had any repercussions with the other faculty members regarding your passion for guns?
Not really. I teach in high school and middle school, mostly middle school. But I know everybody, or most of the folks I've taught with for a long time. I'm in a private school. That probably makes some difference. It's mostly a conservative faculty and student body and parent body and the whole 9 yards. So there are some, I'm sure, no one has really said anything to me. You get a question every now and then, or a comment. You hear someone talk about guns, like they're a little wary of them and that sort of thing. But I've never had anything negative really said to me about it, to tell you the truth. They've known since I started teaching there. It's been 21 years. And I remember the year I started, it was kind of funny. I guess I haven't told this. I was, that summer I competed in some hit stick matches, and I remember I was going to start teaching in the fall, and I didn't really know anybody there or anything, and I'd come back into teaching. I'd left teaching for 11 years, was in publishing and traveling and everything. And I got this thing in the mail and asked me what was some significant accomplishment or class or something you had taken this summer, because they were going to, at the in-service that fall, they're going to, talk about it and brag on, Harry here took a course in basket weaving, whatever, for the summer, just kind of, get an icebreaker or whatever it was for everybody. And I looked at it, I didn't even know anybody. I said, well, the most significant thing I did this summer was I came in third in the Tennessee IPSC match, and I'm just going to put it down. That's all I know. So if they don't like it, so what? And so it was kind of funny. So from the very, very first in-service faculty meeting at where I'm teaching, they found out that, okay, this guy's a shooter. So from then on, and at that time, the headmaster was a lifetime NRA member, and that's probably why he mentioned that in the faculty meeting. It didn't bother him a bit. He thought it was cool. And so I'm sure there's some folks who wonder about it, and maybe parents too, that they know me. I've been there a long time. And they know I'm a very kind individual, and the fact I have all these guns doesn't really scare anybody. So it really has not been a problem.
That's fantastic. I can't say that you would have the same reception at most schools in Canada.
I'm sure. Yeah, I get some comments from listeners up there, occasional viewers. I can tell it's a different world. But I do have a lot of people from Canada that communicate, and it's neat to communicate with them, through you guys, today, because I appreciate all of them watching, and a lot of folks that really enjoy guns up there.
Yeah, there are a lot of us. So it's funny now, because I've got a few questions now I'm going to ask you here. You mentioned some of your favorite firearms, and some of them are pretty classic guns, but then you throw in Glock, which is obviously a much newer, more technologically advanced type of pistol. So I'm just going to skip ahead to the next question here and be, what, in your opinion, is it that makes the Glock so special?
So special. Yeah, I know. I get accused of being kind of crazy about the Glock. What makes it so special, I think, is the fact that if you know guns, you like guns, you really mess with them a lot. If you're really a pistol guy, like I am, that's the reason I took the name Hickok long ago as a username on other things before I even started YouTube. Hickok was, Wild Bill he was the pistolero for real, the real deal. And I just always really liked pistols. And there's something about the Glock. If you could take a bar of soap, for example, someone who has shot a lot of pistols and wants the perfect pistol, particularly maybe a smaller one or concealable or even not concealable, just a handy gun. If you could carve the perfect gun out of soap, at least from my perspective, one that didn't have big old controls sticking out of it, knobs and different things. I use the word dehorned a lot. I didn't come up with it, Jeff Cooper or whoever, people that modify guns and build guns, they strive for that dehorned effect, on a pistol sometimes. That's what I like about the Glock. It's now some of the big ones are kind of blocky. They are thick. There's no doubt about that. The 45s and 10 millimeters, they're just big guns. But all the Glocks are so dehorned just naturally, from the factory. You can rub your hand over those things, stick them in your belt, and there's just no extra gadgetry, on them. And then, of course, beyond that, the way they're made, the tinfer finish, the hardening, the reliability. I moved from of course, I still like 1911s, but I was competing with 1911s and shooting those, and dealing with the magazines. If you didn't have the right magazine, they weren't reliable. Try to feed hollow points. A lot of the early ones, you weren't going to necessarily get 100% reliability. I was in a lot of competition matches and watching people struggle with those things because the extractor wasn't tuned just right and having malfunctions at the worst possible times, and myself included at times. And now they'll work if you've got everything working right. Of course, in 1911, they've come a long way too. And then when the Glocks came around and some guy talked me into trying one, and I got to seeing how incredibly reliable they were on top of everything else I've mentioned. You just couldn't get them to malfunction. I was impressed. And the magazines, never have I had a bad Glock magazine, ever. I've got some that are probably 20 years old. They're mixed up. I don't even know which ones I've had for 15 years, 10 years, 20 years. I never think about it. If I went to a shooting match tomorrow or to fight a bunch of terrorists or something, zombies, it wouldn't matter. I just grab a handful of them and go, So it's just that reliability, just the way they're made, they're just strictly very, very functional, and they work. And there's a lot of good pistols out there, but that one, I guess I still put it just a couple notches above the others.
I see. So my question then is, what has led you to collect so many Glocks? And is it true that you really have a copy of every model except for the 17?
Well, I really don't have every model. I've had some I don't have now. I started out, of course, with the 17. When I first got into Glocks, that was the only Glock, the Glock 17. And I had a couple of those and shot them, and then went to the 40 when it came out, because I was in competition, and that looked like a great cartridge. You could make major and IPSC and everything. And then I kind of fell away from the 17 as I got into the Glock 23. That was the first compact Glock I had, and I thought, oh, this is really a neat size, and I fell in love with it. And then the 17 seemed awfully large to me after that, and then I let those go. Someone talked me out of them, and I've just had a hard time with the bigger Glock since then, unless I'm going for a bigger caliber, maybe like the 10 millimeter or something. But I just like the small ones, and I don't have any of the Gap, 45 Gap. I don't really have any of the 357 SIG. I have a barrel conversion I put in my 23 I picked up. But I really haven't made an effort to have every Glock, just the ones that I like. And now I do have some duplicates of the ones I really like. You probably tell from some of the videos, I really like the 19 and the 23, and then, of course, the 27 and the 26. So I have a video called the Fab 4 Glocks, or Glock Fab 4, or something like that. And I just, tout those four models as just wonderful, depending on what size you like. And I really don't see a need personally for a bigger Glock. I mean, this 19s and the 23s just shoot as well as the bigger ones, but some people like the bigger grip, so whatever floats their boat. But I don't have them all. I just have quite a few.
You do like them then?
Quite a bit.
So, told you those guys were pretty good fellas, didn't I? So hopefully I didn't come off too stupid there on Canadian radio. And I guess not. Here I am playing it on my station too, or channel. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that portion of it. And we are going to jump to the gun action of the week here now. Before we wrap up, last week, drum roll, the gun action was the Model 94 Taurus 22. Yes, double action revolver. Maybe you could tell just by listening that it was a 4-inch barrel. I'm sure you could tell it was stainless just from hearing it. So that's what that gun was. It was the Taurus 22 that you've seen a close-up with recently. You begin to see a little pattern here, don't you? It seems that sometimes when I'm doing this, I have a gun handy, and that might be the one I use that we've been shooting. So anyway, let's press on. And the gun action of this week is, and I realize this is tough. You know, they tried to do it, get even with me on the radio show you heard with the gun action. And, well, for one thing, I couldn't hear it very well, and I'm not sure it would have helped if I could, tell you the truth. I know it's tough. So here we go. I'll try to give you a lot of action with it and see if you can tell what this is. Okay, here's the trigger pulling. All right, that was the gun for this week. It's one I really like. Okay, there's your hint for this week. Gun that I am very impressed with. So, take your best shot at that. And I'm going to let you go because I know we went long on that interview. We wanted to play for you. And as usual, I hope you guys do something with firearms this week. You enjoy them and you do something positive. Maybe you write a letter. Maybe you call your congressman. You send an email, at least. And by all means, you continue to represent firearms ownership, in a positive light and with some maturity. I know I don't always act mature, do I? Hopefully, that's a show, though. Keep that in mind. And hopefully we always do things safely and responsibly, even though we push the limit at times for you guys. So anyway, do what you can to further the cause, and we'll see you again next week right here at the compound. You guys take care and have a great week. You've been listening to the Hickok45 radio show. See you on the range.